Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Welcome back to the Games and Culture Podcast. As always, got Nick here with me. Uh, Nick, I couldn't hear you there for a second, actually.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear your hello for some reason, but he said hello. It's a little something different this time, as you saw by the title of the video. There hasn't been a whole lot of news, so
Oh, it's been quiet for which honestly I feel it's kind of a good thing
yes,
because how many weeks have we had like the industry's we're doing layoffs, we're doing this, we're doing that like wow, it's no news is good news, I guess.
yes. No, nobody's getting laid off. Nothing's burning down. Matt Booty, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond. You're still welcome to come on to the podcast. Glad that you've kept your mouth shut for the last couple weeks, but you're still welcome. Open invitation. I'll keep saying it until it happens. So with no news, there's really not anything for us to talk about. So in lieu of that, we've come up with some topics and stuff to kind of supplement and make sure that you guys are still getting the quality games and culture content that you come here for. And so today we're looking at our top 10 indie games. And so this category of games is something that's changed over the last like cycle of systems, where Xbox 360, PS3, that's where the indie craze kind of started, and with smaller games like Bastion and stuff like that. And so now it's a whole section of the industry. So it's really, when we were making our list, it was actually hard to really come up with a definition for indie game, because you can't say it's an independent studio anymore, because there are lots of independent studios out there, like Larian Studios, who just made one of the largest and greatest games of all time in Baldur's Gate 3 last year. You can't really say that's an indie game.
Same thing with CD Project Red. They self-publish, so I'm
Yes.
not calling Cyberpunk an indie game.
Or Witcher for that matter. So, our definition is independent studios that kind of bootstrapped their projects, meaning they didn't seek a whole lot of funding from publishers. They self-published, put out their video game into the world, and hoped for the best. So all of the games on our list are going to closely follow that. I think there are some exceptions. I think there are some gray areas, but with this kind of topic,
It's murky, so we're gonna do the best we can.
exactly. Because again, if I'm making top 10 independent studio games, Baldur's Gate 3 would have to be on here somewhere, and I don't think that's really fair to the likes of Balatro or Among Us or or Eastward or all of these
No.
games that that wish it had the type of mass appeal that Baldur's Gate 3 has had. Um, so if you don't like our definition, let us know in the comments. What's your comments? What's your favorite indie game? What's your definition of indie game? Let us know, and hopefully it's not Baldur's Gate 3, because damn.
No, we're
I
sorry.
mean, they
It ain't
did
gonna be here.
technically they did crowdfund it and put it on early access. So like that's a pretty indie thing to do. So, but we'll just jump straight into it. We have each of us have our top tens. We have some honorable mentions towards the end here. You've seen our top 10 videos. You know how we're gonna do. Nick's gonna go last because I don't know what the heck his number one is. Mine
I
is
don't know
more
I have no idea what your
obvious.
number one is.
When I say it, you're gonna be like, yeah, of course it is. Yeah, so,
You're gonna say
coming
the
in.
same thing about mine then.
Oh, okay.
Guarantee it.
Well, fair. Coming in at number 10 for me was Stray. Released a
Mm.
few years ago. It's the cat game before the new cat game that came out this year that I still haven't played. Little Kitty in the City, which is just a
I
brilliant name. It's just a
I
brilliant
never
name.
even heard of that game. Little
Yeah,
Kitty in the City.
yeah, you're a cat in the city and you do cat things. It looks like Untitled Goose Game meets Stray, but I digress. We're talking about Stray. So you play a cat. It's in this like post-apocalyptic world, and it's this really kind of serene and kind of ethereal experience. Obviously your cat, so your character doesn't talk, but you're helping out this like robot society as you try to get back to your group of cats that you get separated from. And so it's a weirdly like beautiful experience because of the restraint that it has. It's a puzzle platformer, with a couple action horror bits thrown in there, but it's just really cool. I was in between games a couple years ago and finally picked it up because it went available on Steam, and then it was available on Steam Deck as well. So I played through it. It's like a 5 hour experience. It's a really solid game, and it ended up making my games of the year for 2022 when I played it. So definitely worthy of your time.
My number 10 is definitely different tone than Cats. Mine's a very scary one, Signalis.
I knew this was going to be on yours.
Yeah, this is, if you like those old school Resident Evil tank controls again, this is definitely up there. And it's more like a sci-fi horror, which I kind of like, dig that type of stuff, so kind of alien-ish vibes. But definitely it's telling a beautiful story in the midst of all of it. But it is definitely a story of, it takes a few like hours before you things like, okay, I think this is what it's trying to say. It can get very symbolic in terms of what it's trying to say, and can be a little confusing. But it's very tight in its gameplay. Like there's no, like, even in the current Resident Evil games, where like your RE2 remake, you can increase your carrying capacity. You cannot do that in Signalis. You only carry 6 items at all times, and that's it.
Nope,
so
I'm out.
yeah. You have to try. Okay, I'm gonna throw this into this chest, and it always appear in that chest, way over there, and hope I survive.
Nope.
It is. You have to think out your routes. Like, okay, I need to get from here to here. This is what I have. This is what I need to survive to get from here to there. It's too scary, too tense.
No, I just hate that shit. The reason why I'm so bad at Resident Evil games to begin with is like I just don't have it in me to like conserve resources. So I'll unload an entire clip into a zombie. They get back up and I'm like, wow, that was wasted. And so I always get like hard lock because I've used so many resources. So that's not my game.
Fair enough. I'm used to being a pack rat in these type of games, so I'm just like scrounging every corner. Okay, I found 3 bullets. Okay, I'm doing good.
3 more and I'll have a whole magazine.
Yeah. But no, seriously, yeah, it's definitely one of the greatest horror indie games ever made. Definitely, if you can handle that type of stuff, pick it up.
Well, awesome. Shifting tones again.
Well, there's a lot of tone shifting here.
Number 9 for me is Untitled Goose Game. You know it. You love it. It's the game where you get to be a dick to people as a goose. I mean, what else can you say?
we were trying to like make sure we refresh our memory about different indie games before we started, and he reminded me of another game. Well, he said something that reminded me of another game, but shit, that's gonna be my thing, and it knocked like Untitled Games out of my top 10, unfortunately. But yeah, it was almost there. I almost started with that game. So it'll be my honorable mentions. But yeah, no, that game's amazing. I mean,
it's so much fun. It's a puzzle game where you accomplish certain tasks as this goose. There's some stealth stuff. There's some action parts. You're chasing a kid and making him trip. There's a dedicated honk button. It's just fabulous. I'm surprised.
The fact that their tagline for the game is beautiful. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and you are a horrible goose.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful tagline.
That's all it is. And so like I remember completely like beating the game, like doing the things that they asked me to, and then it opens up with more shit, like harder shit to do. And I was like, yeah, because I just get to be. It's more of being a goose and being a dick to people. It is one of the indie games that I've double dipped on. That I think that's the true mark of a good indie game is when I buy it digitally and then they renounce a physical down the line, and I'm like, yep, 100%, gotta add that to my collection. So it is one of the games that I've double dipped on. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. I can't sing its praises enough. Like they didn't have to have a dedicated honk button. They chose to have a dedicated honk button.
Well, again, and also the fact that when the game was announced, the Untitled Goose Game name was just a placeholder, but everyone thought the name was just so stupid and amazing. Like, you know what? We're gonna choose to keep this name. That's how we're rolling with it.
Beauty of indie. And then it ended up winning the Game of the Year awards for DICE in like I think it was 2019, 2020, something like that. It won Game of the Year at the DICE Awards. So it's like, I wonder what the studio is doing now. I wonder if they're
House.
Yeah. I don't think I've heard anything from.
No, I saw they had a trailer for something within the past year or so. It wasn't anything like Untitled Goose Game.
I might have to look into it. But yeah, Untitled Goose Game is my number 9. It's fantastic.
Definitely. Well, we're gonna keep changing tones, going from being a horrible goose to punching the shit out of your opponents. Probably the most well-known indie fighting game in existence, Skullgirls.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Uh,
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I could. It very much, if you like Marvel vs. Capcom, especially 3, is it's almost a love letter to Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and 3. Plays a lot like those in terms of 3v3 tag teams fighter. What's interesting is unlike MVC, where you just have to do 3v3, you can do a 1v3 if you want. The game will balance accordingly. Or 2v3, whatever you want to mix and match the numbers. So it's pretty cool. I generally think it's one of the most beautiful fighting games I've ever seen, because
that was crazy cool.
Well, our show is amazing on its own, but every single frame, every single action of the characters is hand drawn. So characters take a while to make because they had their season pass finally completed. But it probably took probably 6 to 9 months to a year to get each character out.
Yeah.
It took a while just because they're hand drawing every single frame. Because these characters have a laundry list of attacks, and they're drawing every single one of them. It also means you have to draw them getting hit by other moves and stuff like that. So the amount of dedication and time into doing that is just amazing, and the fact that it still comes together to be a fighting game that can stand toe to toe with Street Fighter, your Tekkens. I mean, that says a lot. I mean, it was at the Evo main stage like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. So hopefully one day it can return.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. I mean, in a slower fighting game year, I'm sure that it can come back for sure. Shifting tones again.
A lot of that right now.
Number 8 for me is Among Us.
Pretty sus.
I mean, hey, call me sus if you want. I love Among Us. I think I don't play it as much anymore because friends have kind of gotten away from it. But I still have a couple YouTubers that play it from time to time. I always tune into those videos because they're fun. It's just a fun social game. It's a social deception game where a couple people are imposters and they go around killing, and you have to figure out who is the imposters and try to get them out. Crew wins if they get out all the imposters. Imposters win if they kill all the crew. Simple as that. But where the beauty of it is comes into just the social interactions of the game. My favorite color is red. I play the red crewmate. Everybody freaking thinks that it's the red crewmate all the time. So there's tons of games I remember yelling my fucking lungs out, trying to convince people that I'm not the imposter when I actually am not the imposter, and I get voted out anyways. No apologies given after they were wrong, nothing like that.
Of course, not.
It's this
I regret nothing.
Game that Innersloth, the developers, have given to the fans to do mods like the Town of Us mod, where there's different roles and stuff, kind of like Werewolf. They themselves are doing that too, introducing roles. And then it's culminated in Innersloth making more money than they know what to do with. And so now they're helping fund other indie projects and passing that goodwill along. So Among Us just is this kind of beautiful disaster of a game that came together and just kind of blew up during a time during COVID where we just needed social interaction and we needed fun. And it's now stamping its legacy into something more. I mean, there's a TV show coming out this fall that looks to be really funny. Again, Innersloth is funding other indie projects and passing the goodwill forward. So it's just not only is it a great game and a fun game, it's also a great story for these developers that really are just some people that love making games, and that passion came in the form of this quirky product that everybody latched onto and has had a good time. I mean, it's stood the test of time, similar to like Five Nights at Freddy's, where there's always a group of people that are like rampant fans and continuing to bring other people in. So yeah, I love Among Us, man.
Oh, yeah, Among Us is great. I mean, I'll be on record. I don't regret voting you off when you're not the imposter anyway, because I thought it was funny. So
glad you got your marks.
I regret nothing.
I hope that you died immediately after that.
It was times, but you know what? Worth it. That makes me want to get back to that game. All right, we're gonna keep changing. I want to see how long it takes to actually be on the same wavelength of tone, because I'm changing tones again.
Okay.
My number 8. This title's a little weird. Its official name is VA11 Hull A, but colloquially it's known as Valhalla.
Okay.
It's a vision.
I think I know what this is. He said
It's
VA.
VA-11 Hall A. So it's a visual novel.
It's on my wish list.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk bartender action.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
um, if you've played a game now, granted, Coffee Talk was inspired. I'm pretty sure it was
Can I
inspired by
just
this
read
game.
this? Can I just read the Steam description?
Sure, go ahead.
Valhalla Cyberpunk bartender action is a booze 'em up about waifus, technology, and post dystopia life. It's on sale on Steam right now.
I mean, it's worth
Sick.
it. Definitely worth. It has a really good soundtrack. Like, holy shit.
Whoa,
Uh,
that bundle's actually really good. Oh, keep talking. Sorry, I'm distracted.
Anyway, yeah, if you play something like Coffee Talk, it's very similar to that idea. I'm pretty sure Coffee Talk was inspired by this game. It's a visual novel, and it's not. If you're looking for like from soft typically, it's not the place for that. You're really just mixing drinks, kind of memorizing how people want it, and you can. There's a kind of cheat sheet in game to make the drinks, so it's really not that hard. It's really about the story, and I think what indie games really excel at for storytelling is they're not beholden by a lot of giant corporation focus group testing. We're going to sanitize the story down, and this is a lot more raw, a lot more real. Talking about stories about identity. There's your struggles. Even things about capitalism, consuming everything, corporations taking so much power. It approaches it with a very real aspect to it. Because it's the bartender. And you're not some bartender who's like, oh, you're bartending at night and you're gonna go say that. No, you're just you're someone living in this world, bartending for people who are also living in this world. And you're just kind of talking and seeing how they're all making do in it. As a character piece, it is just immaculate. I've played it through once, at least twice, possibly 3 times. I don't remember, but at least twice. I've bought it. I've double dipped on it. I bought it on my Switch, and then I bought it on my Steam Deck. So it definitely it's a game worth checking out if you're into those type of very wordy, very dialogue heavy games.
Okay. Well, they've got a bundle here on Steam that includes Coffee Talk, Red Strings Club, Pester Quest, and Monster Prom. So I think that was a good deal. A lot of stuff.
I'm gonna say that and Coffee Talk together, that's a good deal.
Bundle.
I'm not sure the other games in there, but yeah, they're very
Well, apparently the Red Strings Club is a neon-covered cyberpunk conspiracy. So
I don't need to spend any more money. I'll have to
Anyway.
look this up after the show. Dang it. More money.
Shifting tones again. Number 7 for me is Towerfall. Towerfall is one of the best party games out there. So it is a Super Smash Bros-esque game where everybody's got a bow and arrow, and you shoot each other with bow and arrows.
Was this the one that was made by the Celeste developers? I'm pretty sure. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it is.
I've played this one before then.
Yes, and so you can go up to 6 players on Switch, 4 players on everything else. There's a bunch of different maps and stuff, and it's just about killing your opponents. Every character has the ability to shoot their arrows, obviously, and to dodge. If you dodge into arrows, you can catch them. So there's lots of like risk and reward gameplay. And the more people that you cram into these little maps, the crazier chaos that ensues. Every different level has like special arrows, from like bomb arrows to arrows that dig through walls to arrows that if you dodge to catch them, you get trapped in like a crystal prison. It's such a fun game with tons of variety. There's even actually a co-op mode where you kill a bunch of monsters and stuff and test your limits of friendship with your friends, of taking down hordes of monsters. It's just a really good time. Like, simply put, it's a really good time. All of the matches, you can kind of determine how quickly they go by setting certain parameters, because there's like different game modes. But yeah, it's just a super fun time. There's a tons of different like handicaps and mods that you can put into everything to make each match a little bit more interesting. It's just a really good time. It's a really good time. Even if you're just doing like a one-on-one or have the full 6 in there, you can't go wrong with it. It's so much fun. Simplicity that's easy to learn but hard to master. I love games like that, and this is one of those things. Laser
Yeah,
arrows, fuck them. Because I kill myself with them every time because they bounce off walls and I forget that I toss it out there and I'll kind of like get in its way and then get shot by it and die and lose a point. Fuck laser arrows. Mega bomb arrows though, those my shit. Remote bomb arrows, even better, even better.
Yeah, I haven't had a whole lot of time in that game. I have played it before because the names sound familiar, and that's why I mentioned Celeste. I think Madeline and I think Battle Line are both playable in it as well.
Yes.
But the little bit I've played, I did enjoy. It was super fun. It was very Mario Party-esque, very mini game-ish, but that was just the whole point of the game. But so I definitely check it out. Actually, probably should pick it up myself, honestly, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's like $15. Get you the game and the expansion. Like it's a good time. Good time.
Sounds a good steal. All right, well, changing tone again.
Excellent.
One of these days, our tone's gonna be on the page.
I don't think until we get to like the bigger indie names will our tones align. But go on.
Next, this one I mentioned earlier in the year, we did our top 10 games of the year, and this was the winner of my last year best indie game. Officially yes, but the game I didn't play the other game would have won it until after the fact. Yep. But this is Slay the Princess.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I've mentioned this to you before.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have a chance to pick it up yet.
The good news is currently playing it, so you were ahead of Markiplier. I just want to point that out. Like get Nick on the Games and Culture podcast talked about this game before Markiplier played it. I'm just do with that information what you will. I'm not saying that we're bigger than Markiplier. I'm just saying we got to this particular point first on YouTube. Do with that information what you will.
I'm on the ball more. What's good news is so they're still working on releasing the pristine cut, director's cut for the game, which will be a free upgrade for who own it. They're also making a physical version of the game.
Oh, cool.
So that's how you know that the game was a success, when you're making a physical version.
Is it like a limited run thing, or is it like
no, it's done by the same people who did the DDLC physical games.
Oh, okay.
So I'll definitely be picking up
an indie game too. Shit.
Oh no! Did I ruin your list?
Fuck! I don't have that one on my list.
Oh no!
I can't go on the list now. It's got to be an honorable mention now. Fuck! Go on.
Oops. Anyway, I'll definitely be picking it up when it goes on physical. But you're probably feeling the game with it. Oopsie. But anyway, the game's a visual novel. This one's about your choices you make. And I kind of before because I've talked a lot length at our top 10 videos, so go watch that for another take. So I'm trying to think of other things to say about it. But as I said, it's hiding what it's about, and how it's creepiness. But essentially, you're a dude who's told to go kill the princess, or else she's gonna destroy the world. And then you figure out, but the narrator is lying to me because he's clearly hiding stuff from me. But also, the princess is also kind of a psychopath. So I don't know what to do. And then that unsureness, and you keep changing. Okay, well, if I do this, if I do that, things keep changing. It goes in directions I didn't think it was gonna go. I really don't want to say more of it because it is definitely a game where the less you know, the better. But it's a beautiful game, pencil drawn, very creepy underneath your skin type of horror. Not like management horror, like survival horror, but just, ooh, this stuff is creepy. The descriptions, their visuals, everything that's happening is creepy. So it is definitely easily one of the best horror games, indie horror games ever made. I'm so glad they're successful because they're making a physical copy.
Yeah, currently on sale on Steam. Big ups reviews. Description: you're here to slay this princess. Don't believe her lies. It's like, fuck. Damn, that's a good bundle too. Fuck. It's called the Cabin in the Woods bundle. I'm just plugging Steam stuff apparently. Inscription: What remains of Edith Finch and Slay the Princess. Like that's a fucking.
The Steam Summer Sale. As of recording, the Steam Summer Sale is going on right now.
Yes. And it is on sale. I need to get this game. I really do. Okay.
Their statue. Then the collector's edition for their physical edition. They have a statue of the princess, and it's a gnarly looking statue. Huh. You can probably see it on the Steam page there down near it. But
Oh yeah, I see it. I think. Yeah.
because you just see her like 3 heads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Kind of a spoiler. Don't look up the collection edition if you want to go in blind. Okay. Number 6. Again, changing tone. My 6 and 5 are the same tone. I just want to point that out. So if you're flipping, then it's on you. But my number 6 is Slay the Spire. For anybody that knows me, I'm a very big card game fan. I don't play a lot of them because I don't like being bad at things. But card-based indie games are all the rage right now. And I have quite a few of them in my honorable mentions and in my top 10. Slay the Spire kind of being the progenitor of all of these. It's a roguelike deck building game. You pick a class of character, and that determines what sets of cards you have access to. And then you are engaging in turn-based RPG battles using the cards as your attack. And it's an absolutely rewarding and equally frustrating experience, as all roguelikes are. But there's just something special with that extra level of strategy that comes out of building your deck. And it's just really intoxicating. That's the whole thing about deck building indie games, is that level of strategy, where you know that the game is going to try to screw you over, and you can screw over them screwing you over just by building your deck in a specific way. And so Slay the Spire really is a whole lot of fun. They announced Slay the Spire 2 just a few months ago. It's coming out next year. I am there day one, I assure you, and it will probably be on my top games of next year. I love Slay the Spire. Unfortunately, it did get beat out by a more recent card-based roguelike game, and we'll get to that in my number 5.
Fair enough. I've heard many things about Slay the Spire. I just haven't had a chance to play it myself.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'll have to get around to that one day. So we're gonna keep changing tones. My number 6. Okay, this is one of the murky ones because it technically did have a publisher, but the rights for it, it looks like an indie game, and it is kind of what's the early definition of that. I'm also combining two different games into this category because I don't want to split them up. Number 6 is River City Girls 1 and 2. So, these are beat 'em ups. A few years ago, there was kind of almost a renaissance of beat 'em ups. We had like Streets of Rage 4 come back. Yeah. There was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Those are good games, but I playing River City Girls, that one to me stands above the rest. One of the things they do from a gameplay perspective, I think is nice, is a lot of beat 'em ups are just like you start on the left side of the thing, you're just moving right across the stage and get to the point B. Essentially, River City Girls,
while kicking ass.
Yes, we're kicking ass. Yes, but
I'm just gonna leave that out.
River City Girls, what it does is it's actually kind of open world-ish, where you can just go up, down, left, right, explore the city. It's kind of sectioned off into more zones than anything, but still, it feels like there's more player agency with that regards. Yes, while you're kicking ass. I
just gonna leave that off. It's like the main point of the fucking game.
The soundtracks for the games are a phenomenal job. I don't remember the name of the singers who did the OST for them, but dear God, they cooked with them. Like they probably created, I think, probably one of the best beat 'em up OSTs ever made. And then the game's sense of humor.
Respectfully disagree because you said beat 'em up. So Streets Rage 1.
I mean,
2, 3.
Streets Rage has good ones too, but River City Girls, I kind of. Well, I only played 4.
Respectfully disagree. Continue.
I think, but to me, its biggest success is its sense of humor. It's writing. This game does not take itself seriously whatsoever. Excellent. The initial concept of the game, it's kind of flip of the script of, the guys have been kept out, now the girls got to save them. And that's about the most normal thing it starts with. And then it just derails from that point.
Okay.
Like
I have those on my wish list. I've been meaning to play them.
They're fun. I mean, there's moments where, because one of the things they do while you're playing the game is, because a lot of like other, at least my experience, there's no really dialogue while you're playing. It just like kind of cutscenes in between each stage. Mm-hmm. There's dialogue while you play the game, while you're fighting. Um, and even when you're not playing co-op, you're just playing one player. The two characters still talk to each other. One of them mentions, like, isn't it kind of weird that everyone at sea wants to fight us? And there it goes. Less talking, more punching.
That reminds me of one of the best lines in video gaming. You know her, Arcane Vi from League of Legends. When you lock her in, she has these giant metal gauntlets. For anybody that hasn't watched Arcane, go watch Arcane. She has these giant metal gauntlets and she punches stuff. And so when you lock her in, she says, she says, punch first, ask questions while punching. It's like same vibe.
Yeah, great. No, yeah, these games are definitely great. And I said in the first game particularly, like the insanity kind of just keeps ramping up in terms of like the final boss is like they break the fourth wall in the final boss by self-referencing the series itself, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? And the second game starts off with the girls get expelled from school, and it skips forward 2 months later. Instead of being all mad at school, I get suspended. They're just being lazy playing video games, and their mom kicks them out of the house to go pick up their new favorite video game that just came out, the sequel. Like, okay.
little on the nose.
Yeah.
Deadpool's looking over going, hey, wait a minute, hold up.
That's my shtick.
Hold up now. That's copyrighted. Hold up now. All right, coming at number 5, Changing Jones, back to the original tone of 6, is another card-based roguelike, and it's Balatro. Came out this year. It's going to be on my top 10 games of this year. I can definitively say, aside from League of Legends, this is the most addicting video game I have ever played. It is now my go-to, I've got a few minutes, I'm going to play a round of Balatro. Like, it's my go-to few-minute game. It's so much fun. It's so weird, and I thank Lord and Savior Jason Schreier for saying something about it, because I never would have checked this game out without him saying that he was also addicted to it. So I'm just going to read the Steam description, and then I will explain. The poker roguelike. Balatro is a hypnotically satisfying deck builder where you play illegal poker hands, discover game-changing jokers, and trigger adrenaline-pumping outrageous combos. So, it's straight up, you're just making poker hands and earning points. And the jokers that you can unlock and purchase in between rounds, they give you multipliers and bonuses when you're playing certain hands. And so, there's 8 rounds with 3 matches in each round, and you're just earning enough points. So it's really freaking simple. The bigger the poker hand, the more points. However, the cards that you're playing in that poker hand will add points, and you can like upgrade the poker hands. So if you have a joker that gives you a bonus on 2 pairs, you can upgrade the 2 pairs so that your 2 pairs are really fucking powerful, and you just keep shooting for those as you're drawing new hands and discarding cards to get the cards that you need. It's super addicting. The jokers change up the game so much. I've had runs that I've gone all the way to the 8th round and then just fucking die. But then I've had runs like my 2-pair example where I just leaned into 2 pairs and I crushed the 8 rounds. There's different deck types that offer small bonuses as well as permanent modifiers in your rounds. It's just a super addicting game, and if you haven't ever heard of it and you've got a spare $15, it is so addicting. It just sounds weird. It's a poker roguelike. What the fuck?
Yeah,
then you get into it and you're like, oh, holy shit, this is awesome.
I remember you mentioned earlier. I might look into it because I mean, the idea of it, poker and roguelike, just like how does you go together?
Weird. Like I said, I wouldn't have purchased it if I didn't see Jason Schreier's tweet about how he's addicted to Balatro and playing it all the time. It's coming to mobile at some point this year, and I think it's gonna just go crazy on mobile. I play it on my Steam Deck, but like, yeah, that is like, in my mind, this is a perfect mobile game.
Absolutely, that's gonna make some cash.
Oh yeah. It saves your runs too. When you stop playing, it saves your runs, so you can jump back in. So you can really play a few rounds, start a good run, and come back to it whenever you want to. Yeah, no, I can't sing Balatro's praises enough. It's so it's one of those roguelikes where after I get defeated, I'm like, I want to go again, because it was just such a like a it's a really weird to just play a poker hand and to see these massive point totals go up as you like orchestrate the perfect combo that matches all of your jokers, and you just see the points ticking up, and you like to like knock out an like a 50,000 point hand in one hand because you just did everything right feels so good.
I don't want to check that out. I'll look into it. Might get my Steam Deck. Um,
It's
okay.
on sale right now for Steam Summer Sale. Yeah, it's on sale. It's a little sale, 10%. It's a little sale.
Okay.
It's still on sale.
All right. Well, I'll look into that. So next two are similar-ish, different in tone, but well, different tone to what you just said. But these two next two are similar in tone-ish. Number 5 is something we actually reviewed already this year. Turian Kurth book, Attorney of the Arcane.
This was gonna be in my honorable mentions. I like Tyrion Cuthbert. Don't get me wrong. I just play a lot of indie games, so
That's fair. No, right. I love Ace Attorney. As simple as
Yep.
that. I love Ace Attorney. Do you like more? You want more Ace Attorney? There. Ace Attorney 7 still a whiles away. This will hold you over.
allegedly.
Also,
Who knows?
allegedly. I mean, we have investigations comes out in a couple months. If you want to play something now, this will hold you over. If you like Ace Attorney, for the love of God, play this game. It's just more Ace Attorney.
This would be a perfect time to point out that our review is in this corner up here. So if
Yeah.
you want more information on Tyrion Cuthbert, go check out our review, because we did already review it this year.
Yeah, so there's an hour and 30 minutes of us talking about that. I don't really need to say much more. Go play if you like Ace Attorney.
Yes, it's very good. It's very good. There's a lot of love for Ace Attorney just shown in that game, and a lot of things differently about it. We gave it a very high review. I don't remember what our aggregate score. It was above a 9, wasn't it? I think.
No, I gave it a 9. You gave it so it was 8.25 aggregate.
Oh, okay. Well, it's 8. It's above 8. So go watch our review corner, and then go play it. Simple as that. My number 4 had to be added in at the very last minute because I was reminded of it during our discussion prior to the video. My number 4 is Pal World. I freaking love Pal World, man. They're big updates.
What it does. I mean,
I'm playing more of it with a couple of my friends. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. They literally said, "What if Pokemon just had no limits?" And that's what it is. There's so many satisfactory things regarding the game. I mean, catching Pokemon is really fun. Fighting the Pokemon and actually, well, no, pals. Fight, not Pokemon. Legally, they're not Pokemon.
legally distinct Pokemon.
Fighting the pals is really, really fun because you are actually fighting alongside your pal. That's really, really fun. It's got those kind of survival
AK-47
elements from like Ark or Rust or whatever. So there's a very clear trend of progression. I mean, you go from hitting stuff with a spear to a crossbow to a gun. I have a handgun finally, and it's one of my favorite things in Monster Hunter is to go back to easier quests and just stomp stuff with your better gear. Same thing in Pal World. I go to that starter area and I just shoot a bunch of sheep type pals in the face, and it's like 2,500 damage off of a single bullet. Should I be wasting that bullet because they're really hard to make? Absolutely not. But did I enjoy doing it? Absolutely. And there's just weird things. I don't know if you know this, Nick, but you can catch the people in Pal World.
Yes, I knew that. You can catch people.
Sell them to a black marketeer, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
So I fought this
What
pal
if we had
trainer
slavery
the
to
other day.
Pokemon?
I fought this pal trainer the other day. I captured their pal, and then I captured them. And now they're working at my base making me pal spheres. It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I will say the game still is in early access, and it still does have a long way to go. There's lots of clunky things in it, but the sheer fun factor of the game cannot be understated. This game is so much fun with friends and getting into wacky hijinks. It's so much fun. It's really, really satisfying when you build a self-sufficient base. and you stock the right pals to work that base effectively. Like there's lots of elements that are just really, really great. Like I said, there's a big update that just came out a few weeks ago with a new island to explore and new pals. That's been good so far, exploring that. It's just a really fun game. It's available on PC and Xbox right now. I think they have plans to bring it to PlayStation. Um, it's one of those experiences where it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. Pokemon with guns, what? That's weird. But then you get into it and it's just fun. You have this little chipmunk named Lifmunk. It's like a grass chipmunk thing. And one of the PAL upgrades that you can give it is you can just give it a submachine gun and it sits on your head and just fires a submachine gun at whatever you're looking at. Who thought of that? Thank God they did, because it's stupid. Or you can give this little penguin pal a rocket launcher. And so when it fires the rocket launcher, it does big damage, but it immediately KOs the penguin because of blowback. So, yeah, Pal World's so much fun. I played it a bunch when it came out and kind of got away from it as we kind of explored everything. Getting back into it with the update and stuff's been a lot of fun. So, yeah, Pal World is... probably going to be in my top 10 games this year. It's definitely in my top 10 indie games right now. It's a lot of freaking fun.
No, it's definitely a little bit of flavor. It's just the wild shit that goes on in the game. It's like, this is amazing, but also so confusing to look at the same time. It's great.
And so the best thing about it though is the crazy shit just keeps coming. Like there's never a stop to it. So like when you have your pals working in your base, they can like get like injuries and stuff that prevent them from working. Like and one of the injuries is they just have an ulcer because they're stressed out. Like who writes this? This is hilarious.
Someone who wanted to shit post whole Pokemon.
They get depressed and then you build them a spa and it cures their depression. Like, you know,
build them a spa cures their depression.
You know, as someone once said, like, basketball is the beautiful game. No, it's Pal World.
It's Pal World.
It's Pal World.
Okay.
It's Pal World.
I don't know how beautiful is the world to describe, but it's something.
Hey, I make a lot of money capturing humans and selling them off to black marketeers, okay?
What a sentence.
Anytime those syndicate thugs ambush me, it's on, baby. It's on.
What a sentence.
Shoot him once in the head, throw a ball.
You know what Pokemon needed?
I just made 500
slavery.
Gold.
That's what the Pokemon games needed, slavery.
Hey, I don't know what the black marketeer's doing with them. I just sell them to him. Because it makes me money. And then I go to the pal trader and buy pals off of him. It's just what it is.
What the fuck?
I almost caught a merchant. Because if you catch a merchant and you have them in your base, their stock changes. And so you can like basically buy something from your base, basically. But he was level 1 and I didn't think that a chest shot with a crossbow would kill him. And it fucking instantly killed him. So, you know.
Pal World. This is a game where the devs ask why not what. Oh, sorry. I said Pal World's a game. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
I say it's showing up green.
Yeah, I hear you're talking. I can't hear you.
Oh no, you're
why
on a
don't
pause.
you figure that out? I'll just go again with my number 3.
Hold on. Why is it not?
And you can just interject whatever you want to. My number 3 is Clone Hero. I don't know if this counts as an indie game. And frankly, I don't really care. I can't hear you, Nick.
Can you hear me now?
I cannot hear you.
Oh my gosh.
Unplug your mic and plug it back in. Okay. Weird cut. We figured it out. Nick, go ahead with your number 4.
Okay, number 4. It kind of stays similar tone to my number 5-ish. It's a murder mystery-ish game, but this one actually kind of did play with the formula more than because Terry and Crypt is just Ace Attorney. Like it plays exactly like Ace Attorney. There's no functional. There's a couple like added mechanics, but it's functionally Ace Attorney. So number 4 is Gaznia. This is a really weird title name.
I thought this would be higher.
You're gonna be surprised why that was ahead of it though. But it's a roguelike Ace Attorney-ish visual novel. So there's no collecting evidence, every single cycle. Basically, it's like a game of werewolf. Somebody is the Gaznia and is killing uh somebody every night, and it's up to you using kind of learning how the characters act, how what their tells are. Because when they're the Gaznia, they do act slightly differently, but it's not. They don't act the same as everyone else. Like everyone doesn't act the same when they're Gaznia. They act the Gaznia thing makes them act a little. It accentuates their worst aspects, but you have to learn what their worst aspects are to have a better idea of if they're the ones doing it or not. So it's very much like a game of werewolf because you're trapped in a time loop. So the Gaussian thing keeps happening. So as you're learning more and more of what makes people tick, you're getting more and more, okay, well, why am I in this time loop to begin with? And things like that. It was such a weird idea when I heard about it. Like, how do you fuse the murder mystery visual novel with a roguelike? And they pull it off. It's I always like sci-fi, and so it's fitting with that little type of stuff. Honestly, I kind of really want to play it. I'm surprised I haven't replayed it. I bought it twice. I bought it on Steam and Switch, and I don't know there's a physical version of the game. If there was a physical, I probably would not buying it.
I don't think there has been.
But by the way, if you like Ace Attorney as much as I do those type of games, but you want something that does a little like unique with it, definitely look it up. It's a Weirdo Games, GNOSIA. Very Gaznia. It's a very weird sounding name. But yeah, no, it is super amazing. Just learning how they do such a good job with how each character acts and their ticks and all that stuff. Like it is. I think by the end of the game, by the time I reached it, I was like, I don't feel like something about these characters I don't fully understand yet. Like I don't know, I can't tell some of their ticks from what's not a tick yet.
Yeah. I played a little bit of Gosney. It just wasn't for me, but and I know it was really good to you because it was on your game of the year for 2022. So it's up.
Yeah,
I think it was your game of the year for 2022. If I'm not mistaken, or at least high up there.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Dread. No, that was 21. I don't think it was game of the year though. I don't remember. No, 2022 was God of War.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But Gosney was up there.
Gosney was definitely up there. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you already got a teaser about my number 3. My number 3 is Clone Hero. I don't know if it counts as an indie game. It counts as an indie game to me because it's community led. So let's talk about Clone Hero. Circa 2006. I'm 14. I asked for 2 things for Christmas. My first guitar, which I got, and Guitar Hero, because I saw it in a store. I got both those. And you would think, wow, you got a guitar. You probably started learning how to play guitar then. No, I didn't. I played Guitar Hero for 6 months straight because Guitar Hero is so much fun. Fast forward to 2024. Clone Hero's been out for a while. I'm new to Clone Hero, but I bought a Guitar Hero controller last year to get into Clone Hero. Downloaded it and just didn't know how to upload songs into it, so I didn't do anything with it. My good friend Carlos also is getting into Clone Hero. Figured out how to upload songs, taught me how to do it, and so now I have a Guitar Hero game in Clone Hero that has all of the Guitar Hero songs, all of the Rock Band songs, and a bunch of other songs that I wanted to play just by looking them up on a website that community members have made charts for, and now I can play. Just before this video, I was playing some Persona 5 music in Guitar Hero.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
I'm telling you that.
Don't tell me that. I don't want to buy a Guitar Hero thing, please.
Oh,
why'd you tell me that,
baby?
Why'd you tell me that?
And it's not just like one song, dude. They've got some of the Striker stuff. They've got some of the Tactica stuff. They've got Royal stuff. Oh yeah, I haven't looked up Persona 4 stuff yet, but damn.
Throw away your mask. God dang it! Why'd you tell me that? God dang it!
So one of my favorite games of all time, is franchises of all time in Guitar Hero, I am just able to play now on my PC, and again, it's all community led. So any like new song that's coming out, give it enough time, and somebody's probably gonna make a chart for it. One of my current favorite bands right now, Beast in Black, they're a heavy metal band out of Europe. They're a recent band, so they weren't on any Guitar Hero games. I've got 5 or 6 songs that people have made charts for just by being fans of the music and wanting it out there. And it's freaking awesome. It's awesome. I've put in a lot of time in Clone Hero over the last couple weeks. My good friend Carlos that I mentioned, he's buying and like customizing old guitars, so he's making me a custom Les Paul guitar uh, to play with. Him and I have done some like co-op like shred sessions. It's just fun. It's just fun. And now there's people that are making charts for the vocals and the drums and the bass. So if you got enough USB ports on your PC, you have a whole Rock Band setup if you can afford drum sets, which are crazy expensive. But it's just freaking cool that there's a community around this franchise that essentially is dead and doesn't look to be able to be revived anytime soon. And it's just been so much fun because anytime I'm listening to a song now, like out of my Spotify, I'm like, I wonder if there's a chart for that, and I'll look it up on this website that I use, and there it is. And so then I'm downloading it, adding it to the game, and playing the song in Guitar Hero. It's amazing. It's amazing. There's even people that pour over the like the concert videos and stuff so you can see the characters. You can put that in the game as well, or you just leave a black background and just listen to the music and play. It's so cool. I don't know if it counts as any game because it's free. It's completely free, and you can find the music online. I use a website called Chorus. It's great. In times that I've used it, and yeah, just guitars are expensive, but yeah, just grab a guitar.
Where'd you get a guitar from? Amazon?
No, when I worked at the video game store, somebody brought it in to try to sell it, and we don't take those, but I bought it off them for $20, and apparently I got the good end of the deal because the Explorer ones from the Xbox 360 are hard to find. So,
I'm looking at Amazon to maybe get one because now you tell me with that's
just text Carlos, dude. He might sell you one of his extras because he's got like 8 of them.
well, I don't think I have his number, but regardless, but I'll look into it because telling me I can do Persona 5 because
easy. It's so easy to add songs to. It's so easy.
Because I'm waiting for that PlayStation VR adapter for PC to come in so I can get Beat Saber on my PC and I can start injecting game songs into the Beat Saber. Yes. People are doing that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I think Beat Saber being community led, Clone Hero being community led is so cool. It's so cool. Like I said, I was listening to Harden My Heart by Quarter Flash, a really obscure 80s pop rock band. And I'm like, oh, I love this song. It's got a really cool guitar solo. I wonder if there's a fucking chart for it. Bam, it's on there. And now it's on my Clone Hero. So it's great. It's great. I can't sing its praises enough. It's great. Awesome. And again, you can find complete Guitar Hero games and Rock Band. I'm not kidding when I say this. I have every single Guitar Hero and every single Rock Band set list in my my Clone Hero. Yeah. With like all of their DLC and stuff like that.
God dang, I didn't want to spend money on a guitar, but I might be tempted to. Poopy.
I mean, if that's the only barrier of entry, man, like I said, like
that's not a bad barrier of entry, but dang. Yeah. I didn't think about all that crap. Oh well. All right, on to my number 3. This one, I'm gonna say my top 3 are really cliche picks. I'm not gonna lie. Like these answers are probably commonly given by a lot of people.
My top 2 are cliche. Yeah.
But there's a reason why they're cliche. Number 3 is, to me, the greatest indie horror game ever made. It's Doki Doki Literature Club. Yes, I understand.
So
that is
upset that I forgot about it.
I understand. It is cliche. It's been overdone. People have ran it into the ground. I get it. But doesn't change the fact that how the game presented itself, what the game did with its music, its game story, how it pulled it all off is one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen in a video game. The fact that you have to go into the game's files to actually beat the game and literally remove things so you can beat Monica, like that's crazy. The fact that there's a function in the game where you type in my gamer tag and I'm coming with that, and in the game she'll look you dead and go, "That's not your real name, is it?" And she reads your because everyone usually puts their real name on their PC, so she reads that thing, goes, "Oh, this is your real name." Like, holy fuck! Like the fact that it's not It's not trying to get you with blood and guts. It's not trying to make it tense like survival horror. It's just trying to get under your skin.
Yeah.
And it does it so successfully.
Mhm.
No amount of
It's
people
one of those
right.
games that I wish that I could mind wipe and replay for the first time again, because that first time is unlike any experience that you've ever had in video gaming because of how well they buried the lead. And even subsequent playthroughs are still unnerving, still grating, just because of how successful everything is about the game. But that first time, when you don't know anything and you're just in it for the cute girls on the cover, like there's something special about that first time with everything that happens in the game. Like if you haven't played it, we're gonna, similar to Slay the Princess, we're gonna try not to say very much
I have
because
said a little bit,
yeah,
but
but
the game's older at this point.
exactly, like if you haven't played it yet, pick it up and play it, because especially if you like horror games, like it's unnerving. It's unnerving how well the game lures you into this false sense of security and then just pulls the rug out from underneath you.
No, the game. Has the game been like kind of an Undertale effect where it's been kind of ran into the ground by its fan base? Yes, but that doesn't change. That doesn't take away from what the game actually did in itself on its own merits.
Yeah. I mean, for the first couple days when it released, it didn't have the psychological horror tag, so people were buying it and then getting fucking ran into the ground with the subject matter.
I mean,
And
about
then,
an hour.
And then honestly, I think it's even better when they added the psychological horror tag, because then you're like, what the fuck is this game?
Why is this here? Like, isn't they even like we brought up Slay the Princess earlier, but Slay the Princess looks like a horror game from the Steam page. It is bearing its lead on how it's gonna go out, but you can still tell it's a horror game. Doki Doki does not do that. It does not look like a horror. It looks like a freaking dating sim.
Yes. And that's what the developer was going for. That was the goal of the medium, was to, like, yeah, this is a dating sim. You got these three girls you're choosing from. Monica's the stereotypical like leader, class president. Yuki's the classic kind of like like kind of conservative, kind of like gothy, mysterious girl, and Natsuki is the fun, sporty, kind of like loud one. Pick your poison. And then it's like, no.
The poison, the game itself.
No. Yeah, well, one of my favorite shirts I have, it's Monica, and it's Monica's in the background. You just see delete, 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 delete,
Yeah,
delete, delete.
that's I have so much of that.
Sick as hell. But yeah, play Doki Doki Literature. I'm so upset that I forgot it. Not only is it in my Steam library, it's in my Switch library as well, and somehow two places I overlooked it. I don't understand.
Oopsie.
Yeah, I'm upset. I'm not even gonna mention it in my honorable mentions now because we talked about it for a little bit longer, but I'm so upset that I forgot it. I'm so sorry.
There'll be other games too where we probably have been. We're just forgetting. So because we did put this idea together like yesterday of time recording. So
yes. So my number 2 appeared on my game of the year of last year list. Indie darling, Sea of Stars. If you know me, you know I'm probably the biggest RPG fan there ever was. I love RPGs. I love turn-based RPGs specifically. And Sea of Stars just hit every single note. It looks and plays like Chrono Trigger. It sounds like a dream. It engages itself in some very interesting subject matter. Again, it was one of the few games ever that made me cry, and I'm not talking like tear, like a single tear, like, man, that's sad. No, I was blubbering crying at certain scenes in this game because they conveyed the emotion, they conveyed the 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 love, and they built these characters up over a set time in a way that made you care about them. And so when shit hits the fan, it's an extremely emotional experience. And I can't say that that's something that some of the bigwigs like Persona and Final Fantasy have done. There have been moments, sure, but to get me to blubbering cry, Vivi couldn't even get me to blubbering cry, and Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite game. So like, they just did such a good job crafting the story of the game. And I'm just talking about the story right now. They went with an interesting way with the story, and it ended up in a place that I never expected, but they landed it and did it really, really well. And then again, that's just the story. The gameplay is sublime. They have this ingenious spin on the turn-based RPG formula where each character has a different type of attack, and you can negate enemy attacks if you line the right attacks up. So there's a level of depth that isn't seen in like your run-of-the-mill turn-based RPG that it has. And this is an indie game. You know, it didn't have the funding of Persona 5 Royal or Final Fantasy 16. Like, it's doing things great and at the level of some of these big wigs, and some things it's doing even better. Because again, the story is second to none. I love Sea of Stars. I hope that a sequel is in the works because
I would hope. I mean, they
I think you have a long running franchise on your hands.
I mean, I definitely think they're definitely doing well. I know that because I mean, they said they sold a lot, but within like a month, it was close to like I don't know, it was 1 million or somewhere, 100,000. But for any game, it was a lot. But on top of the fact they sold that much because the game was on everything, at least on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC.
Yep.
But Switch and PC were where they're gonna get the most of the money from because it was on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus day one. So they got checks from Sony and Microsoft for that. Yeah. So those together, but then you got the easy upfront money, but you also got the back end money too with the Steam sales and Switch sales. You know, so they were just making all kinds of cash. So they definitely did well. I don't know if they're going to just go straight to a sequel or it was a one and done for them, but they're definitely set for the next endeavor.
Yeah, I think it's Sabotage Entertainment that did the game, and I love it. It's such a good game. I think again it's one of those games where Sabotage, they self-publish too. It's one of those games where I think I would like to mind wipe myself and play it for the first time again because like
did you ever I think they're making a physical copy of the game if they haven't already.
I need to find it. Simple as that. I need to find it. I would love to have a physical of that one because that one I'd be happy to double dip for that one. For sure. What's your number 2, Nick?
Well, speaking of games, I'm going to be happy to double dip on one. This is a somewhat recent one. This is also another cliche when people ask, "What's your favorite indie game?" They're going to say one of these games. It's Hades 1 and 2. Like, I'm not going to separate them because Hades 2 is still in early access, but it's so feature complete already.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That it has more content than the base game, the original one game at launch. Well,
it's crazy.
Yeah, at 1.0 launch.
At early access launch, yes.
Like, bro, the fact they went through that. But since it's not technically, I'm just going to keep them, there. But I will gladly, because Hades 1 got a physical version. There's no way in hell Hades 2 won't.
Yes.
And I've already bought the early access stuff for Steam. When they say, hey, we're going to release a physical copy for your Switch, PlayStation, whatever. Okay, fine, here's my money. I'll buy it again. Because Hades 2 is, if you liked Hades 1, Hades 2 is like, here's more of it. Have fun. But I mean, it is, I could easily, I mean, it is not how like it. I could easily claim it's probably the best indie roguelike. But I could probably also claim it's probably just the best roguelike, period.
Yeah.
Even against AAAs, like, and Supergiant is one of the best devs in the industries. I mean, a lot of devs will crunch their studios and stuff like that. I know Supergiant will like, no. We'll literally just tell our employees like, oh, you have a bunch of vacation time stacked up. Go take a vacation. This is not a option. You're taking your vacation. They won't crunch their employees. All this, and yet the game comes out in a good manner after the first one did, and it has so much stuff in it.
Yeah.
The voice acting is impeccable. The gameplay is just sublime. I mean, everything. It is. To be fair, I think it may have had some wins for Hades 1 at least. Had some Game of the Year wins back in 2020.
It was nominated for Game of the Year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it was going against like Final Fantasy 7 and Last of Us 2. So now, I mean, arguably, I think I could see an argument it was better than those two. But I mean,
it had to have won Best Indie, right, for 2020.
There's no way it
It had
didn't.
to.
There's no.
I know it was nominated for Game of the Year, but it had to have won. It had to have won best indie. It had
Yeah,
to have.
there's no way it didn't. I mean, I said there's so much to say about these games, and I'm sure we're gonna do a Hades 2 review soonish. So we'll gush
Yeah,
about it more in
we
depth.
just been a little bit hesitant on doing that since it's not officially out yet, and they are going
Yeah,
to be adding new content, and what's already available is very fucking dense.
yeah. I mean, I still haven't gotten to either final boss. Cause yeah, this one has two.
Yeah, I've been
So
to the underworld final boss once. I got my
like
ass handed to me.
yeah, Supergiant has proven themselves one of the best. I haven't played some of the other games. Like I know some people may say Transistor and some other games they've made should be on this list, and they're probably right. I just haven't played any of their other stuff.
Yeah.
But I got Transistor into my Steam account now, so I'll eventually get to that. But Supergiant has earned every bit of trust they have at this point.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. So let's get into some honorable mentions. But before we do, I got an interesting question that I didn't plan. What's one indie game that you wish you have played? Like, or like you want to make sure that you play before you die?
I mean, I bought Transistor. I feel like the easy answer. Because I know it's from Supergiant. I like the look of it, and I just bought it, so that's probably what I would say. What else is there? There's something else I had it and I lost it.
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight. Yeah, Hollow Knight's up there. Yeah, I need to play Hollow Knight because I love Metroidvanias, and I've heard nothing but praise for the Hollow Knight. But yeah, so Hollow Knight and Transistor are probably up there. It's probably the two I would say. I need to buckle down and play these two.
Yeah. I think I have two that I really like. So I love Pokemon clones. Cassette Beast was one that I had listed as one that I wanted to make for my top 10, but it just didn't make the cut. It's really good. But there's another one called Koromon. I have it. I just haven't played it. Apparently, it's supposed to be pretty good as well. But my big one is Hollow Knight as well. I have a physical of it. I have it on my Switch as well. I just haven't gotten to sit down and just like play it. I'd also like to play Undertale as well.
Yeah, that was another one I haven't played. I've started it. I just never played the whole way through.
Yeah. I haven't played through all of it. But yeah, those are probably my two biggest ones. But let's get into some honorable mentions. So one that was in my my top 10 until Nick reminded me that Power World's an indie game. Vampire Survivors. I fucking love
Yeah,
Vampire Survivors.
I have that. I have that main one. That's one of my honorable mentions as well. I mean, it's the fact that the gameplay is really there's not a whole lot of like moment to moment you're doing. You're just kind of walking around because all your stuff's just kind of going out off at once. But they make that gameplay loop so satisfying.
Yep. Yep. And it's fast too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got like a couple minutes, like you can get in and have a good run of fucking Vampire Survivors in a couple minutes. And so because there's so many different characters, because there's so many different attack upgrades that you can get and stuff, it really does make it a very fun, like engaging experience for a roguelike where you are making decisions moment to moment, but the things happening moment to moment are not like significant because you're just moving around. You're just moving around. That's it. You're just moving around. And somehow they took that and made it into one of the most addicting gameplay loops there is. It's super fun. It's super fun. I personally like the wizard character that calls down the lightning because like once you get it upgraded enough, you're just screen wiping every time it happens. So currently, it's my only character that I've actually completed on. So.
Yeah, I've gotten to like the 30-minute like cap once, but like it took some trying.
Like fuck it, those tight turns around enemies to keep yourself alive. Like I love those kind of moments, and it's interesting how well the game like presents those moments, even though the gameplay is like super fucking simple.
Well, since we shared one, we go and do another one of yours.
Oh, okay. Now another one of mine. This one I don't think you've ever heard of. I think that you would enjoy it though. It's called Death Road to Canada. which right off the gate we're that's a hilarious title. And so it's a roguelike where you are a it's a zombie survival game. I say very loosely. So you're a character trying to escape to Canada because there's no zombies in Canada. And so I'm going to read the Steam page. I think it does a really good job illustrating the game. Control a car full of jerks as they explore cities, recruit weird people, rescue dogs, argue with each other, and face gigantic swarms of slow zombies, randomly generated for a new story and rare events every time you play. And so, yeah, so it takes you, like, you start up a game, you make your little 8-bit character, and you'll get, like, um, the you get like the what's the I'm blanking Oregon Trail.
Mm-hmm.
You get like text box like that, like, hey, you're driving along and you see a guy on the road. Do you pull over or do you keep driving? And so that leads you into moments, or like, hey, there's a city and you pull up in the city and you can explore the city, pick up weapons, kill zombies. It's super fun, super weird. It's kind of on the older side. It came out in 2016, but it's really just fun. It's really, really fun. The game does not take itself seriously at all. Shit happens all the time. When the zombies swarm, it really is kind of that, like, the actual combat plays a lot like Vampire Survivors, but you're in charge of, like, swinging your weapon and stuff like that. It's just a fun time. It's a fun time. It's currently on Steam's summer sale for $3.75. So, you know.
Wow. Shit. Oh, well, I
Same.
haven't. What was it called again?
Death
Some to
Road
Canada.
Canada.
Death Road. Okay. Well, $3. I might have to do that up. $3. Shit, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great. Like, you, death features. Teach a dog how to drive a car. Throw chairs. Get your character strong enough to throw large sofas. Tell people to cool it.
Tell people to cool it.
Family-friendly zombie game on the market. Any gore explosion is in the cute style. We censored the word dingus once.
Okay.
Like that's the tone of this game. It's super fun. I can't say enough about it. It's fun. It's just fun, quirky fun.
Gotcha. How many more honorable mentions you got?
I mean, I got a couple. I mean,
Okay.
I can cut them off if you want.
No, it's good because I have 3 of my honorable mentions that you already mentioned, so I'm just gonna rapid fire those real fast.
Oh, okay.
So the first one that you already mentioned was Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that one is, as you said. I mean,
It won the Dice Award for Game of the Year. What are you doing? Play it.
Yeah, I mean, you're Goose. I mean, we talked about it. Yeah, it was great. Your number 2 was Sea of Stars in my honorable mentions. I mean, yeah, it is just a great RPG, as you said. You know, I probably wasn't as connected as you were, but still, I mean, I didn't expect it to go over that final act where it went, but it stuck the landing because it changes like genre.
It really
on
does.
a dime.
It really does.
And the other one was Among Us that you mentioned. I do want to get back on that one, but yeah, some of the hijinks that goes on in the game is just great.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one for me. Another card game, but not really. It's called Card Shark. It's from Devolver Digital, so you know it's high quality. And so it's a game where, kind of like your Valhalla game, where you're just doing something kind of innocuous, but it's wrapped in something a little bit more. So you get taken under the wing of this Card Shark, and you're taught how to cheat card games. And so there's a bunch of different types of cheats that you learn and have to implement to make sure that you're coming out ahead. And it's a really addicting experience because it's that same kind of tension that you get from a stealth game, because you know that you're cheating and you're making sure that you have to go through the steps exactly to make sure you pull off the cheat. And so it's really addicting. Different controller movements dictate different kind of like things that you're doing on the table. It's very, very interesting, and I think it's worthy of checking out. It's a weird one, but it's got a pretty good story, and it's like I said, it pulls you in because it's captivating in the fact of what you're doing.
Okay. My last one, then.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Your last one. I'll do my last one.
Okay, my last one I mentioned. So another game I mentioned earlier this year in my top 10. It's Pizza Tower.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
God damn it.
I,
I haven't played it. I need to get that one. Damn it.
I mean, if you like Wario Land, this is the Wario Land that Nintendo won't give us. It's the Wario Land we're not going to get on the Switch unapparently, unless they have one more surprise for us. But I mean, yeah, I'm surprised it's not on the Switch. Honestly, it would do gangbusters there.
Yeah, it is interesting that it's not on the Switch.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
early
very
access? I don't think it's early access.
no.
Keep talking. I'm looking it up.
But it is very much Wario Land. Like the movement, what you're doing, how you attack things. I mean, it's Wario Land, except you're a pizza chef who's gone insane and you're fighting pizza.
Yeah,
Its art style.
Early access.
Its art style. Its art style is in a weird sense, it looks crudely drawn, but it makes it have its own identity.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Its art style reminds me of Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah. I mean, I could say I keep comparing it to Wario Land, but honestly, if a Wario Land game was drawn this way, I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like it looks like crusty and greasy, which is perfect for its
Pizza.
tone and for pizza.
Yeah.
You play as I cannot stress this enough. You play as Peppino Spaghetti, which is just pun intended on the chef's kiss.
And there's so many other puns they make in this game. It is not again. It takes itself seriously at all. That's it. It's literally just Wario. I mean, in Wario Land, like you go to the end of the level, you get the thing, you have to run all the way back out. That's how these games work. Well, a piece of how it works. You're doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
So yeah, if you need Wario Land, you have a Wario Land itch, go play it.
Yeah, speaking of the Steam page says featuring a highly stylized pixel art inspired by cartoons from the 90s. So yeah, so I guess Ren and Stimpy actually did inspire that. So my last honorable mention is another weird one, but that's because most indie games are. It's called Neon White. So it is a card game speed running FPS with a Persona-esque dating sim built into it. So let me explain. So it's an FPS. You're going through these extremely short levels, and it has speed running in the mindset. Like you don't beat a level until you get at least gold, which is doing it at like the bare minimum of the best speed, basically. And so you have these cards that are guns, and so you can either shoot the gun and you have like an ammo, and whatever card you're holding is the gun that you have equipped, or you can discard it for a special effect inside of the level that influences your movement. So you're constantly having to switch between firing guns to kill enemies or discarding them to get to places faster or higher or stuff like that. So it becomes this extremely addicting speed running focused game where if you don't get the best time, you want to go again. And the best part about it is the game helps you find that ideal route to make sure that you have the best times. So if you unlock gold rank, it will like on your first try, it will give you hints at to where you could go faster so that you can get to the higher rankings for better times. Factor that in with the leaderboards, it just makes you want to go again. It's a very, very fast-paced, well-designed game. And in between those levels, you have a Persona-esque dating sim where you're talking to your other compatriots and finding out the backstory of this game that you are playing. So it's really, 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 really cool. The art style is immaculate. I really cannot stress how addicting this game is, because you just want to go again so that you can get a better time and stuff. Or if you see a friend's time is higher than yours, then you just pound that level until you get a better time than them. It's really, really cool. It's weird.
Oh, it looks weird, but I really heard good things about it. One of those games I need to check out as well.
It doesn't sound like it should work, but then you start playing the game and you get it, and it's like, oh man, this feels so good.
That's always good through the games. Because you come up with the weirdest stuff, and it's like that shouldn't work, and then you play it. Oh, it did. It definitely worked.
Yeah, one of the ones that I had on here, but it didn't rank high enough for me, is Golf Story. It's a golf RPG.
Yeah, I've heard of Golf Story. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like weird. And then I also just cannot stress. I forgot it. I go play Doki Doki Literature Club. I feel so bad for forgetting it because I love Doki Doki Literature Club. that's a slight on my honor right there.
Oof. Gotta commit seppuku.
All right, rolling into
Number
number
one.
ones.
Did you want me to go first? Or you want to go first on yours?
I guess I went last, but you can go if you want to go first with your number one. Feel free to. Otherwise, I can go. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead. Go first then.
Mine's one of the middle. It's the only indie game that I haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah,
Hades
that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, Hades
Yeah,
1
that's
and
what I
2.
thought of one.
So good.
I mean, yeah.
Dare I say, probably one of the greatest indie games of all time because one of the greatest games of all time. Like, it's so good. The art style, clean as hell, immaculate. Voice acting, immaculate. Gameplay, immaculate. It's so much fun. Fast pace, rewarding gameplay, just like you want out of a roguelike. But it did the one thing that no other roguelikes before it did. It made dying just as special as living. When you die, you got more of the story. You got more time with the characters that you're building relationships with. You got to pet Cerberus. And so that's the one thing that I think sets Hades apart that other roguelikes are starting to take notice in doing is making dying special. You get more of the story. You get to talk to characters. You get this moment of reprieve after you've just fought to your last. And so now this gives you a chance to refresh, take a deep breath, and go again. And I think that's why I resonate so hard with this is because roguelikes are a tough genre. They're a tough genre. They have a high barrier of entry because anytime you're like, yeah, you have to do everything in one beautiful run, and if you die, you basically lose everything. Not a lot of people are going to want to go, yeah, that sounds fun to me. And so with Hades, Supergiant figured out how to make it accessible. Yeah, you die, it sucks. You have to do everything in one beautiful run, but when you die, you're able to talk to people, you're able to get more of the story, you're able to grow the universe. So dying is it's a thing that happens in the game that doesn't matter.
Dying doesn't feel like a punishment in Hades.
Bingo. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you always have your weapon, and just having your weapon is good enough to get to the finish line if you're skilled enough. Factor in the boons and stuff, all of them feel pretty powerful. So whenever you're starting again, you're not necessarily starting from zero. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it was because recently I just started playing the Valhalla DLC for God of War Ragnarok, which it's a roguelike mode.
Yeah,
it's very clear they took inspiration from Hades. So this little small indie game is inspiring Sony's premier AAA franchise.
Yeah,
that says a lot.
Yeah, because like I said, dying doesn't matter. You're getting more of the story. And then I'm just talking about Hades 1. And Hades 2 went in early access this year and is already feature complete, but they're adding more. And it already has double the content of Hades 1 and just does everything just a little bit better. The weapons are a little bit more widely diverse. And aside from one of them, feel pretty powerful. The boons, we're getting to talk to new gods, so the boons are different, but there's still a lot of boons from the original cast, but they've changed and tweaked things. The art style still immaculate, but they gave all of the gods fresh new looks. And I feel like the story this time around is even more engaging than the first one.
A lot more. It's definitely a lot more serious than the first one.
The first one, you're fighting for Zagreus to be with the rest of his family and escape the underworld. In Hades 2, you're fighting to rescue the family that you didn't really get a chance to know while defending Olympus from the Titans. Like, there's so much more at stake, and now there's two different ropes that you're being pulled within directions of, giving the player more agency to kind of figure out what's important to them, all while still expanding the story of this greater universe, all while giving the characters in this game development. It's such a beautiful video game franchise now, and Supergiant has knocked it out of the park. Like, this is the de facto roguelike series for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Anybody interested in roguelikes should start here because this is the best. This is the most rewarding. This is the gold star Michelin ranked freaking roguelike series. There's
mean,
other
I'd set
great
up.
ones out there like Dead Cells, but like Hades is the roguelike.
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend just recently. I mean, past like 2 days, asked me some Steam on games. And asked him to play roguelike, and he said no. I said go to play Hades. Like literally, like, it is the king of that genre.
Yeah.
Such a good franchise. I said it was my number two. There's not enough praise that can be heaped upon it, and as we get to the Game of the Year stuff later this year, Hades 2 will get even more praise.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have to have that debate whether or not we should include it in our lists. So yeah, just like every other outlet, will be debating whether or not to include it on their lists.
Because I mean, if it is on the list, it even now it has a claim for the top spot if we're relying on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what's
All
the
right.
next mysterious number one?
I'm surprised you haven't guessed it. You may have already guessed it at this point. My number one, it's a little cliche. It's because this is one of the ones I feel a lot of people would answer this one. My number one is Celeste.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna assume it was.
Yeah. It's a difficult platformer. But kind of the same vein as Hades, where it's not a roguelike. You don't have to play the whole entire game, but you're going to die in Celeste a lot. But it doesn't punish you. It restarts you at the beginning of the section of the jumping platforming. You got to get through it. But it doesn't feel punishing. But also what makes the game truly special is its story, because the story is a game of self-doubt and perseverance, and learning to accept yourself. Because I mean, to me, it also had to me one of the best boss fights ever in a game. It's the only boss fight in the game where you're facing Battleline, but it isn't some fight of good versus evil. Battleline in that fight's running away from you because she thinks you're there to kill her. Like to beat my problems, I'm gonna have to destroy them once and for all. And the game's message, no, that's not how you beat them. In the final fight, you're essentially running towards her to calm her down, to accept her. And so it's an allegory for that type of stuff. And there's a lot of just especially for me, just some of the themes of the game and where the story goes kind of hits personally for me. And I still haven't beat the whole thing. Like there is the part when you get to the top of the mountain, that's the main ending. But there's a whole farewell DLC that I've never actually gotten to, and I really need to but to get to it, you have to complete some other stuff. You have to go into levels and find some hidden things to unlock it. But I need to go back and do that. But yeah, no, this is easily it is the best indie game I've ever played. The music for it is just spectacular. It really knows how to really set someone into the mood and the tone of what they're the story to get through. Like even the mirror level where Battleline first appears, if soft, very soft and kind of this kind of weird, soft exploratory, and then Battleline shows up, but as you're getting close to Battleline, the sound music is kind of creepier and creepier, and then she pops up, and then it just turns into this giant chase sequence. The music, you're trying to run away through this exact thing, like ethereal place you just were.
Yep.
So yeah, it is. As I said, play it if you haven't played this. Play it for the dear God. Play it. It's on sale right now on Steam for like $3, including the OST. I rebought this game. I played it first on Xbox of all things. So they had it on Games with Gold. I have it on my PlayStation because it's on PlayStation Plus. I bought it on my Switch digitally. Then I bought it on my Switch physically. Now I bought it on Steam. So I've had this game like 4 or 5 times.
I love Celeste, and I have it. I bought it on Steam. I have it on Switch. I have it physically on Switch. It's a fantastic game. I left it out of my honorable mentions because I figured it was going to be your number one since you hadn't mentioned it yet. But yeah, this game is awesome. I mean, I mentioned Towerfall, which is Matt Plays Games game before Celeste. So just a great developer. Celeste is fantastic. I'm also just now forgetting an indie game that I fucking left off, and I'm pissed.
1 second. What was that game?
Shovel Knight.
I haven't played Shovel Knight.
I I love Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight, honorable mention. It should have been in my top 10. Shovel Knight's one of the greatest platformers of all time. Fuck Christ. There's so many indie games. This was the problem with this list, our dear audience. This was the problem. There's so many indie games out there that we're gonna just forget like thousands of them. Oh, I'm so upset.
That's what I thought.
Hades would still be my number one.
Just so you're aware, it's not Matt Makes Games anymore.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's Maddie Makes Games now.
Oh. Well.
Just want to put that on, make sure that's on the record.
Yes, I did not know that. That's awesome. I wish that they would go into their games and change the logos and the games and stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
I think they did on Celeste at least. Oh. Where when you said Matt Makes, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it says Maddie Makes Games when you boot up Celeste now.
Well, that's interesting. We'll boot up Towerfall real quick. See if it says on Towerfall.
I mean, it does make sense because in Farewell DLC, it is revealed that main character Madeline is trans herself.
Okay. Yes, on Towerfall it still says Matt plays games. Okay, well, Maddie plays games. I apologize, and I thank you for the correction, Nick. But yeah, really great indie games out there. Really great ones. What's your number one indie game? Let us know in the comments. Is there any games that you think we left off? Because I guarantee there is. Because I forgot about Shovel Knight.
And the DLC.
Literature Club and Palworld. So yeah, what games did we leave off that we should have mentioned? Leave them in the comments. Maybe we haven't played them yet. Maybe you'll spark somebody's interest in it. What's your definition of indie games? Because the definition's pretty broad at this point. Let us know in the comments. And also let us know if you like this when there's not any news, if you like hearing our top 10s and stuff. We thought about doing some like tier list videos and stuff like that. So let us know if you enjoyed this different format, because we'd be happy to do more of them. I mean, at the end of the day, we started this channel just because we like talking about video games, good and the bad. So if you like this format, let us know. We'll try to do more of these videos in lieu of news, because like Nick said at the very beginning of the video, no news probably is good news, because that means people aren't getting laid off, essentially. So I thoroughly enjoyed this video. I hope we get to do more of these, because people are not getting laid off. And thank you all for being here. We'll see you in the next video.
Adios. Go play some indie games.
Yes, go play some indie games.